This wasn't a video that I was planning on making until I was watching a live stream that Angry Man had on his channel last night, and he had brought up a good point, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of what he was saying in a part of his live stream, and that's basically the platforms that you are on and how you pretty much spread yourself out instead of just limiting yourself to just one. When I first started making my YouTube videos, I only had one other, well, maybe two other social media accounts. That was Facebook and Twitter. And I didn't really use my Twitter account a lot because at the time that was when smartphones were really starting to boom into the marketplace. They were still fairly new at the time. I'm kind of showing my age, but whatever. And so I wasn't able to use Twitter a lot, but I was able to use Facebook a lot. But even then, with a smartphone, I didn't have one at the time, so I always had to rely heavily on my computer, especially when it came to uploading videos. Because I created my original YouTube account when I was in college back in 2000. I want to say I had one in 2009, and it was linked to the one that y'all are familiar with that came out later in 2010. But of course, because both of them were linked together, they're both gone now, unfortunately. And that was the only way I was putting videos out, and it was mostly college-based stuff. Then I put it down for a while and then picked it back up maybe in 2015 and then got more heavily back involved in 2016. And at the time, I still was only using Facebook and Twitter. By that time, of course, I had a smartphone. And then Instagram got integrated into the Android because at first Instagram was only for iPhone users, and then Android ended up hopping on the wave a little bit later. So a lot of people ask me, Tarian, why do you have so many platforms, or why are you on so many social media accounts? Well, first off, I'm on, of course, here. I have a Black Junction account, blackjunction.tv, Patreon, Twitch, which is the latest one I created, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Those are the only platforms that I have. And I know you're saying, wow, that's a lot of platforms. And the reason why I have a lot of platforms, or a lot of different social media accounts, is because I want to spread myself out and have a growing audience. Where one person may not catch it, they might on one platform, they may catch it somewhere else. Now, of course, YouTube is more of the hub because that's where the core base of my subscribers are at, and then it kind of spreads out from there. It's almost like a web, and YouTube sits right in the center of that web, and then everything else just kind of spreads out like a tree. I guess a tree is another way that you could describe that. A lot of people have said they found me through other platforms or from other people from other platforms as well, but for some reason it always links right back to YouTube because that's where the core base of my following is. Another reason why I have so many platforms is because, well, as y'all know, starting in October of last year, that's when my channels really started to take that hit as far as being targeted and, of course, being later on terminated. And the reason why I want to spread myself out is because if, say, for example, I only relied on YouTube, YouTube was the only platform that I had. If my YouTube channel was to get deleted and YouTube was the only platform that I had, then it would be impossible for many of you to even find out where I am after leaving me, after the termination of the account. And see, when I spread myself out, like if it wasn't for me keeping the name, then of course it would be hard. But see, but I try to keep the name as closely as possible to the original name and keep the logo, or should I say the avatar, as closely related to the previous one as possible. And if I only did that, it would be hard for you to find me. And by me having multiple account, like social media accounts, that's an easier way for you to find me. And also another good thing that I was able to do is, of course, set up that email account so y'all can email me possible topics that I can discuss. So that's why I have so many social media platforms. It's not because I wanted them. It's because I need them, because if something was to happen, you'll still be able to communicate with me. I have followers, of course, on YouTube. That's where like I said, that's where the base is at. I have people who follow me on Twitter. Like most of the people that, like, I remember when I was like on Twitter, the most I could not get out of the 1,600 something follower range And now I'm at almost maybe what, maybe 23 something followers now. I never thought I was going to crack 2,000. On Instagram, I've had quite a few people who follow me on there as well, who watch my videos and my content. Snapchat, that's more like, that's kind of a plaything. Facebook, that's more personal. That's more people I actually know off of social media, because those are people I went to school with or family members. But when it comes to like Twitter and of course YouTube, especially YouTube, that's where most of my core subscriber base are. But then I have other people that find me other ways, and then of course with the email as well. And of course I just created the Twitch account because that's another live streaming service. So it's basically like, if I don't feel like live streaming on the YouTube channel one day, then I can live stream on the Twitch. So basically I have an option. So that's why I created so many social media platforms, because then that way you can find me almost anywhere. That way, it won't be like, oh, if I say, for instance, I didn't want to post anything on YouTube for an entire week, but here I am on this platform, then you'll know where I'm at. You don't have to worry about, oh, did they get them again? No, I'm still here. It's just that I'm not using this platform today. But that's just me, because I don't want to always like spread myself too thin. I always want to like be as open as possible, especially when I have a huge, I guess you could say, a significant following. But that's pretty much all I wanted to address in this particular video. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you in the next one.